for those who don't know, in WA now, the state government has given themselves the power to decide how many people we can have come onto our own private land to conduct shooting and hunting activities. And they have come up with some whiz bang formula that they're assessing it in a certain way based on the size of your land and a few other things. And then the state will prescribe to you as the landowner how many people you can have and what calibers of guns and what firearm types that they can use on your property. And they've limited the number to 7, I think it is, or depending on the size of your property, but 7 is about the number that you can have. Obscene. And I remember doing interviews with people in this fight in WA who raised that as an issue and just said, this is not how we in regional communities, like Jack Carmody said, this is not how we operate. We don't want to log on to a Landgate portal, which could be hacked, upload our information about the size of our property, pest density problem, all of this stuff. We don't want to have another steps in all of the things we do as landowners to keep the economy going, to keep the food supply going. We do not have the time, nor the patience, nor the technology, nor the trust in your technology to be going down this path just so we can have volunteer hunters come out and help us do the tasks that we simply don't have time for. This is the position they've put us in Western Australia, completely trampling all over the culture growing up in regional Australia. I'm from regional South Australia. It was common for people to go knock on the farmer's door and say, do you need a hand with culling foxes this Saturday night? I'm happy to help. That if you cannot do that anymore, if you have to go through this bureaucracy and this approval thing just to be able to conduct activities and manage your own land. No, no. So that is a question that we have asked, and that is something that the KC has gone into in his advice. So that is an option that we are looking at challenging as well. I will say, because this is quite an extensive list, that I do not have all the funds to fund all of these fights. I think people really need to understand this. I am so grateful and so relieved that I raised more money than I set out to, because the cost of this advice has cost more than the original fundraiser because of just how bloody big it is. And that's fair enough. People should be paid for their work. You've looked at the biggest laws and regs on the books in WA, real meaty stuff. I mean, gun laws in Australia, in WA, which is why I was happy to be the client, because I can understand what the bloody hell they're talking about. Section this or the outdoor, regular, administrative or delegated. Like, I can keep up with them because of my background and all of this. And thank God we had that funding, because we've sent 3 letters now, and those letters come with the price as well. The emails, the phone calls, the correspondence, every time they open a document I send, that all adds up. This is how it works. So what I am saying, we have the options to challenge here. There needs to be a conversation about what we do next. I've told you we're already collecting the information and serving the letters about the compensation scheme, how they came up with the numbers. What are they doing with the guns now? Do not blow them up. I've already paid for that. I sent that off. Apologize if I'm running this my own way, but this is a position. I have to make decisions. I do not have time to sit on Facebook and listen to some of the things people are saying about me, or get caught up in defamation case against this or someone like no, I have been focused on the legal action that I started back in January, despite everything that has been said about me in the meantime. Legal action that hasn't delivered legal action. Look what I'm sitting on. It's just, but this is what happens when you get in the fight, because we are challenging gun laws in Australia. And we are not coming from a position of sympathy. And the media have a field day whenever, anytime guns come up. This is what we are up against. But I did not think that I should have been crucified the way that I had been, especially when it came from that publication that started the attacks on me, and everyone knows who I'm talking about here. But I have been focused on what I set out to do, which is get the legal advice on the gun laws, when other organizations wouldn't, when some of them were even saying there are no options to challenge it through the courts, it's a waste of time. Well, how can you make that conclusion? That's fine. Everyone has a right to an opinion. If that's your opinion, if you spoke to your old mate who was a lawyer 10 years ago or now is retired, that's an opinion. The only opinion that counts is the one that you get written by a SC and a legal team and who are competent and deliver it to you in writing. That's the only way you can have a legitimate opinion on the gun laws. I'm sorry. Everything else you're wasting my time. I don't have time for that. I've gone out and gotten this advice when you didn't want to, when I asked you to help, when you're sitting on more money than I could ever dream of raising. You didn't do it. I did it, and this is how you treat me. This is a culture of the shooting organizations in Australia. What can I say? After my years of dedication and hard work for them, this is how they treat someone. And all because what? I've relocated to Texas with the best gun laws in the world. I may or may not have an AR-15 sitting behind me. Can you see it in the shot? No. This is I'm allowed to have a life too and follow my dreams and have a future and have a job where I'm respected and live in a country that aligns with mine and still do the job that you still are not doing for the people. So just had to get that off my chest because there needs to be a discussion about how we fight this because we have ways to fight this. We've already started the fight, already sent off these letters. We can go to court with urgent injunctive relief if we need to. That's the other part of all of this is we've asked for a ceasefire while the review takes place. That is what the e-petition is asking that Dave's put up with Dr. Brian Walker tabling it mid-August from memory. I hope everyone signed that. That petition specifically asked for while the review is taking place. Ceasefire. There's problems with your laws, otherwise you wouldn't have sent it to review. You're getting hammered with legal letters from Lady Liberty and her KC. You have to keep the pressure on. This is how you do it. Going out for lunch with the Nationals is not really achieving anything still. You have to keep the pressure on through the legal system and through things like petitions. So that's going before Parliament very soon as well. But there has to be a conversation and people should think about, I do have things to fund. I'm funding this letter. I've got money allocated to things that we are looking at. We're still working out the timing. As I said, that's the other thing with all of this is a battlefield. When do you make a move? When do you hold off? When do you go this way instead of that way? It's honestly a strategy, which is why I haven't just uploaded all of the advice on the internet and given it to the hands of the state solicitor's office, which is the commie army of lawyers who are wondering, well, what are the issues with the laws? Well, I've got the issues with the laws right here, written by a KC from WA. And I can tell you what I've revealed publicly and what I haven't revealed publicly because we can fight back. This is what we're sitting on here.